Hello, and on the gaming table today we're taking a look at another War Master battle, 2000 points of Norse versus the Tomb Kings. So the Norse won the scouting role with their Valkyries and they deployed them, and then the Tomb Kings put their army down. Let's take a quick look at the Tomb Kings army. So they've got a lot of cavalry on the left here, then some big blocks of infantry and war machines in the middle. At the kind of the reserve point there, they've got the Chariots. We've also got the camp you can see in the background, although that didn't play a part this battle. More infantry, the war machines again with the Sphinx, and then more cavalry on the right flank. So if we take a look at the Tomb Kings here and what they're trying to do, there are three objectives in the middle of the table. We're doing a scenario here, and the middle one is worth twice as much as the ones on either side. The Tomb Kings here basically balanced in their deployment because they don't know where the Norse are going to go, and they're looking to bring their infantry up in the middle and use their cavalry on the flanks. Pretty traditional kind of layout. So here the Norse have got their cavalry with the Ulfwerener and the Giant on one flank, a big line of Bondsmen and Huscarls here, unsupported, just a single rank. Then the War Mammoth and quite a lot more infantry over here protecting their camp on this side, and Valkyries on the end of the line. So what you can see here for the Norse is that they've gone heavy with cavalry on the right of their line. A thin line in the middle, they figure they can take on the Tomb King infantry with a single line there, and then more infantry on the left. So a little bit of a different deployment here. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, so here we go with the Tomb Kings getting started. They got good orders off on the first turn. Everything moving forward fairly well. War Machines got a little bit delayed there. They had a failed order, so only a half-pace move, but pretty good overall. Then for the Norse, again, also pretty good the first turn, moving up. Everybody's going for the objectives in the middle of the table. If you're touching an objective at the end of your turn, you get points, and the one in the middle is worth 2 points. Cavalry moved up at the bottom here. The Giant's okay. The Ulfwerener at the bottom there failed an order. A little bit of Spite of Loki tried to go off, however, nothing happened there. Tomb Kings then put their forces up onto the hill here. Moved everything else in the middle forward, although they couldn't quite get to the objective. And then they decided to charge in their cavalry first. So cavalry on cavalry there at the bottom. Moving the characters up, obviously they're going to try raise deads. A little bit of shooting in the middle here. Forced a couple of things back, but didn't do too much damage. Then a raised unit popping up in the cavalry there at the bottom. So in the combat here at the bottom, the Norse cavalry got roughly handled. Over 2 rounds of combat, they lost 2 units down there. The Valkyries were contacted edge to edge, side to side there. They got driven off, but not affected in the combat there. After the combat, the Tomb Kings tried to fall back, although they didn't do too well on their rolls, so they ended up putting the raised dead in the rough ground there. All of those rough patches of ground are impassable to cavalry, and they do provide defended status. Okay, in the Norse turn, lots of initiative charges at the bottom there, including the Giant and the Valkyries. In the middle here, got a 2 orders off and got the War Mammoth in, although the left flank of the Norse failed orders and got stalled there. Then there was some spell casting. The Thunder of Furor went off in the middle there with the War Mammoth, and the units there did 7 wounds, I think, which was really critical for the combat there. Giant cleaned up its opponent at the bottom here, helped the cavalry finish off the other one. The Ulfwerener got rid of the infantry, and then they pursued up there, one of the units anyway, and the Valkyries and the Ulfwerener got rid of the last unit there. So basically all the cavalry, Tomb King cavalry on this side, eliminated. In the middle there, the War Mammoth and the Bondsmen there won the combat, but only really because of that spell that had gone off. Claimed the objective there, and the War Mammoth kind of kept going, but then didn't really have a good fallback, so not many options for where to go. Tomb King's turn. Moving the War Machines forward, getting them into shooting position. Thought about what to do with the Sphinx here, and a unit charged it in to just the Bondsmen there, and then the Carrion at the bottom here charged into the Valkyries to try and get rid of them. Chariots wanted to charge in the middle of the field there, but they failed their second order. In shooting, the War Mammoth got butchered by War Machines, exceeded 20 on its drive back, and so it was completely eliminated from taking 5 wounds in shooting. 1 unit of Huscarls in the middle there, also confused with a little red marker. In the combat in the middle there, the Bondsmen retreated away and in a position where the Sphinx couldn't chase them. They were chased by some raised dead, but the raised dead couldn't quite finish them off. So that was a little bit lucky for the Norse. Down here, the Valkyries got beaten up by the Carrion and eliminated, but then the Carrion didn't really have a lot of options what to do next. One unit chased some Ulfwerener there, managed to damage them quite a lot, but couldn't kill them off, and then fell back. Okay, so in the Norse turn, lots of initiative charges going on here. Bondsmen, remnants of Ulfwerener, Storm Giant there. Over at the top here, got the Berserkers into the flank of a unit of skeletons there next to the Norse. Hopefully take them out. At the top there, those two brigades include Huntsmen, and so they're basically just shooting into the cavalry at the top there. Okay, the Valkyries go into the flank of the war machines at the top. And then we're getting into some combat. Oh, and also a unit of Huscarls there in the middle, very important. Charged into an existing combat there, managed to do a bit more damage, which was very useful. Okay, down the bottom here, the Norse units wrapped things up pretty quickly. The Bondsmen here ended up in a column. We'll see how that went later on. That was so that the Storm Giant would have line of sight for a charge later on. In the middle there, the Huscarls did a good job, even though only 2 stands left. They took out the unit in front of them and then managed to get around behind the Sphinx, so that in the combat there, the Sphinx got destroyed along with the unit of skeletons. A little bit of pursuit here, and then after that, an advance into the war machines up the top there. In that combat against the war machines, there were 3 wounds, stand and shoot, done on the way in. That combat ended up being a draw, so the bolt thrower was lucky to survive. In the next turn, some orders here from the Undead. They managed to get a few things charging in the Chariots in the middle of the field there. The Norse are getting quite close to breakpoint here, so yeah, the Tomb Kings are trying to finish them off, basically. Down the bottom here, the column of Bondsmen got eliminated in drive back again by shooting. So that's 2 units that's happened to for the Norse. Some combats at the top there, did a bit of damage, took out the Berserkers. In the middle here, the Huscarls survived the first round of combat, didn't survive the second, but then the Chariots had nowhere to advance into. Now, at this stage, the Norse basically had to try and get stuck in. They were on 8.5 break out of 9. So they needed to get stuck in here. They charged the cavalry at the top. They charged a unit of skeletons in the middle, another unit of skeletons and some bowmen and things, damaged things in the middle there, just to the right of the tower. And then the Storm Giant went into the flank of a brigade at the bottom here. Up at the top there, 1 unit of cavalry got eliminated after 2 rounds of combat. It could be pursued because it was hitting the flank. And then after that, the units advanced into the next line of cavalry at the top there. Didn't manage to take a unit out there. Did 2 stands, basically a half unit, a half break point, but couldn't finish that unit off. Just in the hill in front there, there was a unit of skeletons that got taken out. And then from there was an advance. This again was a damaged unit of Huscarls doing a good job over a couple of different turns here. In the middle here, the Undead lost another 2 units, a unit of Bowmen and a unit of Skeletons there. And so they were now at 12.5 break, and they needed to be 13. So it was really going to be down here to the Storm Giant at the bottom. Fortunately, he managed to win the combat by 1 in the first round, and in the second round, he butchered the Bowmen, and that was the game. So a very close run thing there. The Tomb Kings ended up on 13.5 break, so they were broken compared to 13. The Norse were at 8.5, so they were very, very close to being broken too. Interesting game, fun game. The Tomb Kings got off a couple of raised deads, but they were unlucky maybe not to get off some more. But anyway, a good win for the Norse. We'll take it. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.